everyone. Today we shall look into few things related to Pyspark, where we shall create some data and we shall work on a specific question, right? How to find some highest paid employee in a particular department in the table, right? Let us create some data here. So what we shall do? We shall create something called, right? Data is equal to. So the data must be enclosed within square brackets, okay? So you can try to enter square brackets. Within parentheses, you can mention whatever the row data you want. For example, I'll mention some 4 columns. I'll enter some random data. For example, here I'll write 1. Suppose I'll write something called Satish, right? Suppose he works in HR department and his salary is something called 35K. Okay, so I'll put a comma. I'll go to the next line. I'll enter second row. Right? Suppose Rajesh and he works in some IT department and he earns some 40K. Let us quickly create such 3 more rows so that we can get some idea. So here I'm creating 4th row where suppose like you see this, your Databricks is able to give you, the sample data like this. You can use that as well. So here instead of giving IT, I'll write finance, right? And I'll enter comma. Suppose let us take some 70. Okay, so we have created some 5 rows where you can understand 2 rows belongs to HR, 2 rows belongs to IT, and 1 row belongs to some finance domain. Okay, this is some sample data where we can create such data here. Now, in order to give some column names, what we can do, we can define those columns. For example, columns is equal to, okay, you see here what it is trying to do, it is giving me auto prompt, right? You can simply, use it. Here you can see it is your employee ID. It is here, suppose that you want to change it as employee name. So you can just simply change it as employee name like this. This is your department and this is your salary, right? In order to create a data frame, you can create a data frame using this particular, you can give any name and you can try to, use this particular spark.create data frame. But before this, let us understand our question. Okay. So to create a markdown, like what we can do, we can enter the text here. So what is our text actually? Or you can use this magic command and you can try to enter the text. So the question is, find the highest paid employee in each department, right? So this is our query. Now let us try to bring all the necessary functions and let us try to properly write our PySpark code. So we need to import the Spark session. So we shall write from PySpark dot SQL from PySpark.sql import Spark session. Right? You see this S, here it should be capital for both the words. Right? Again, we'll import few more things. For example, PySpark.sql.functions. From SQL functions, we'll import few functions. Okay. So column function, row number function. These 2 functions we need it. So we are trying to import those functions. And next what I'll do, I'll hit enter. And from PySpark dot SQL dot window, I'm going to import window function, right? If you press tab, you'll be able to get this particular function set. So we are able to import the Spark session. We are able to respectively import the necessary functions. Then we shall try to create our Spark session. So how to create a Spark session? You can comment it out, right? Start the Spark. How to start the Spark? You can take some variable Spark. We have imported Spark session, right? So you can write here Spark session dot builder dot app name, here app should be, A should be small and N should be capital. Okay. And you'll open the parenthesis. You can give any name for it. For example, here I'll give some name for it, that, top employee of department. Something like that. I can give some name. So after giving that name, you can write dot get or create. In this, you can see O and R will be capital, and you can enter this parenthesis like this. So here you are able to start your Spark, right? So once you write the Spark, you can create your data frame. Once you start the Spark, you can create your data frame. How you can create data frame? To create data frame, you can give any variable. So just common word, you can use something called df. Spark which you have created, you can write simply spark dot. You can use this create data frame function, right? This create data frame, again you can see D and F are capital. To create data frame, we need to pass two things, okay, mainly. One is data, one is columns. Okay, so this data and columns, here we have defined on the top, right? So here we have defined on the top, you can see this. We have defined the data, we have defined the respective columns. And here what we shall do, we shall import both, like data comma columns will mention. So if at all you have given any other name, you can write simply data is equal to that particular name and columns is equal to that particular name. Not a problem. So once you create this data frame, if you want to see some rows, you can write something called df.show. So what it is? It is an action which will show you some table, right, like this in a data frame, right? So you can see here data frame is created along with the respective things. You can open it and see it, right? There you can see this particular data types as well. Now what we shall do, we shall try to use some window function. And in this table, now I want to provide, or you could say, do some ranking based upon the department. So I want to find, top employees of each department. Since finance has only one, particular person, so it will show me only one value, right? So here we have two values, right? We'll get the highest salaried person accordingly. So to get that, values, since we have defined that window function here from SQL Pyspark.sql.window, we can use that particular window function. Suppose let us take some, highlight something like win is equal to, you can give any variable. What I can do, I can use this particular, window dot partition by. So partition by which, column? Department column. For each department we want, right? So I can enter department wise partition by dot. We need to order by salary. Based upon salary, we need to rank, right? So you can write order by, you can see B must be capital. So here you can see salary, it should be in descending order. So I can use the call function, which is column function, bring the salary, right? And I can keep it in descending order. Okay, so don't want to confuse this. Here you can see what did we do? We are trying to use this window dot partition by the department. We are trying to order by the salary in descending order, right? That is your win data, you could say win variable. Next, once you execute it, you can use that in different, column. For example, you can write df underscore, you can give any name. Okay, so ranking is equal to, okay, it will auto prompt few things, but you can try to write on your own as well. So you can use that particular above data frame which we have created. I'll write with column. With column function, you can understand, it is useful, or you could say this method is useful for adding a new column, right? So what is the column name? Suppose I can give the column name called ranking, comma. So here I want row number. I'm trying to bring the row number function based upon the salary. We are trying to use the row number. If you have pi values, then you might consider, dense rank function, or you can apply some other way of, bringing those to handle those tie values. But here, since we have different values, we can use this particular row number. So I can write row underscore number dot over class. In this over class, what we can do, here we have defined that window dot partition by and order by it. We'll bring that particular variable which is win present over there here in the over class. So once you complete that, you can see here, you can try to perform the action df underscore ranking, right, is equal to, or you could say dot. So you can execute it. So you'll be able to see the ranking column here, right? So what does it show? So here you can understand for IT department, you see this highest value salary, it has ranked 1 and lowest it has ranked 2. Similarly in HR department, highest it ranked 1 and lowest it has ranked 2. Right, now what we want, all the top rankings we want, right? So we need to filter this particular data frame which we have created df underscore ranking. So how to filter this particular data? We can write some top here, what we can write, top ranked employees, or we can say highest salary employees of each department. You see this, it will give you some auto prompt, but I'll try to show you how to filter. Okay, so we shall write some result is equal to df underscore ranking dot. Okay, you can use, right, you can use filter function. So what is the column that we want to filter? Ranking, right? So I'll take that column function, ranking column, I'll take ranking, and here you can see you could say this is the ranking column. So I need to give a condition, right? So in Pyspark, you can write double equal to operator. You could say double equal to mentions. It is condition that where you are mentioned. After that, since you mentioned this, you can see it'll filter that particular result dot show. I'll execute. You can see the output what it does, right? So for example, you see this, all the ranking, first ranks you are able to bring and you are able to filter the data. But since you don't want this ranking column here in the output, what you can do, you can use the drop method, right? You can use the drop transformation and you can try to remove that particular ranking column. Okay, so what it does, it will try to drop it. Again, if you try to execute and check, here you are able to get your necessary output, right? So this is the way how we are able to solve our problem, find out the highest salaried employee of each department. Okay, hope it is understandable. We'll continue in the next session.